Once again, logically complete the text, just kind of go with whatever feels the simplest based on what they've already said. For its 1974 work, Instant Mural, the Chicano art collective ASCO taped members, whatever, to an outdoor wall in East Los Angeles. The work is manifestly a commentary on constraint, but many critics focus on Valdez and the social constraints women faced at the time, which is understandable, but leaves the presence of Valdez's male collaborator Sandoval unexplained. So look, there's two buts here, right? But and but. So it's about women, but then there's a man, right? Unexplained, right? They're clearly hinting like that's an important part of this. We should instead consider that in 1974, the art establishment's recognition of Chicano artists was and had long been restricted to socio-historical muralists, leaving non-muralist Chicano artists like ASCO's members struggling to even exhibit their work. Attending to this context opens an interpretation that accounts for all the evidence, allowing us to conclude that it's about the muralists. It's about the muralists. Well, it's about, I guess, non-muralists, right? Non-muralist Chicano artists to exhibit their work. So they're really setting me up here. I don't feel like I'm adding anything to this. They're just I'm repeating what they've said. A lot of these logic ones are like that, where it feels like you're adding something, but not really. So let's see. Let's see if there's something that matches that. Okay, so while Valdez's presence in Instant Mural represents the social constraints placed on women at the time, Sandoval's presence represents Chicano muralists' frustration at their lack of recognition by the art establishment. Well, again, it's not about the muralists, it's about the non-muralists, right? Plus, it's not about women. They made a whole point that it's this gender thing is wrong. There was a good but there that they thought, oh, it's about the constraints on women, but then why is this man participating? So it's not about women at all. B, the main subject of Instant Mural is female Chicano artists' experience of being doubly constrained by gender role expectation. No, it's not about women. That's what they said. C, Instant Mural is a reflection of the constraining aesthetic expectations placed on Chicano artists in general, rather than on the social constraints placed on women specifically. This is saying it's not about women, right? Rather than women, it's about the Chicano artists. Now, it doesn't say non-muralists, but okay, Chicano artists who are not muralists kind of fit in that category, so that maybe makes sense. Let's look at D. Instant Mural is best understood not as a critique of the social constraints placed on women, so that part still checks out. It's not about women, but rather as a critique of socio-historical muralists' depictions of Chicano culture. Well, now this sounds like it's the culture and how the culture is depicted, but again, it's not really about that. These are Chicano muralists who were given recognition, were given a platform, but then there's people who weren't doing murals, and so what's their deal is really what this comes down to. So C and D are very close. That's intentional, right? They want us to get confused between them, but they're definitely talking about different things. This is talking about the restraints on the artists. This is talking about problems with the culture and how it was portrayed. But it's about, the artists are struggling, right? So it just says it. So it's definitely C. That's a great example of, I would have skipped a bunch of questions before this one because of timing worries and whatnot, and I wanted to get to questions that I think I have the best chance at. This is one I'm glad I would have skipped to because it's not that hard. Two answers go away right away because they make it very clear it's not about gender, and then the other two are close, but I can easily use that idea of a wedge, right, to split those two apart, focus on that little difference, and then it just, again, says it in the passage. So the filter, this is that perfect example of something I talk about in a lot of passages. A very simple filter gets rid of A and B. It's not about gender. Then the two choices that kind of still hit that idea and are close, we wedge them apart. What is different between them? I'm not going back to the passage unless I've got an idea of what I'm looking for. And it basically comes down to, is it about the artists being restricted or something criticizing the culture being restricted? So to me, that was obvious. And I had a clear idea what I was looking for every step of the way.